How's your 10 ball break? Not great, you say? Well, maybe I can help. All right, 10 ball break. I was warming up for a tournament coming up, a 10 ball tournament, and I was practicing my 10 ball break because you gotta practice it a lot to get in the right rhythm. And I thought I should do a series on tips for all the different breaks, like 10 ball, 9 ball, 1 pocket, 8 ball, straight pull. So I'm gonna do that. This is the first of that. It's 10 ball. Let me start by saying I'm not Shane Van Boening. I don't have a world-class break. I just have some tips that might help you. They've helped me, both from experimental, talking to pros, observations. There's things that I've paid attention to. Hopefully it can help you. So first and foremost, highly recommend a good break cue. Playing cues are fine, but a break cue with a phenolic tip, in my opinion, is great. I have the Q-Tech Breach. They are a sponsor of the program, but it's also a fantastic break cue. For the price, it's unbelievable. Even if it was more expensive, it's still unbelievable. So I highly recommend the Q-Tech Breach. So anyway, with 10 ball, there's really two types of breaks that people do. The most common, most popular is this. It is from the center of the table. You're trying to pop the cue ball. You're trying to, there's several balls here you're trying to make, and you're also trying to get shape on the one. Some people, especially when using a wooden rack or a regular rack, like to break from the side. If balls aren't freezing right, or you have to use a wooden rack, a lot of people break from over here. Dennis Arcolo, I think, breaks from over here a lot. I don't know. To me, I think that's more of like just kind of a hit and hope. So we're going to focus on this middle of the table, what they call a pop break for this. Now, what they're trying to do here is you're trying to hit the one, obviously. These two balls behind the one, they go towards these side pockets. So you're trying to play that. And the 2 and the 3 in the corners, those go around the table and possibly go in these corners as well. Now, depending on what side of if you're breaking straight on, the one ball is probably gonna stay closer to the center of the table. The more you come over here, the more you can get the one ball to come up here, here, here. Really, the biggest secret here is you gotta get on the table and practice. So every table is gonna be a little bit different. Every table, if you could have a great break in Florida, you go to Arizona and you don't have a great break, or vice versa. Table conditions, pool room conditions, cloth conditions, ball conditions, the air conditioning in the room, there's so many factors on what's going on. So you could go from one table to the next in the same pool room and have a different break based on the cloth, the balls, whatever. So really what you're trying to do is start closer to the center and start working your way out and try to figure out how to get those second balls coming into these pockets and where to dial in your cube, the one ball, so that it dresses up nice for this side or for this corner pocket. Now, that's kind of the objective. That's what we're trying to do. But how do you do it? You see a lot of people try, you see a lot of people fail. You try to do that pop break, that Shane Van Boening pop break. Some people can do it, some people can't. I was just watching a match with John Mora, and the commentator kept saying, oh, that break was flat, that break was flat. Well, what they mean by that is when it hits that one ball, it's not popping and hitting, squatting the rock here in the center. It's just hitting and bouncing back. So he's not jumping the cue ball into this one ball. Now, when you hit this shot, it is a mini jump shot. The cue ball will leave the felt, will leave the table, the cloth, slightly, and with the right timing, right stroke timing, the right speed, you can hit this one ball while the cue ball is a little bit in the air. What it'll probably do is bounce, go a little bit more off the ground or off the table, hit that one, pop, and what it does is it gets out of the way of this one ball, so the one ball can come down here. It gets out of the way for these second balls. It goes bam, bam, there you go. Now, how do you pop the ball? You know, I see some people, they line up for like a real jump shot. You're not going to have much power at that. You're not going to get much of a spread. Don't recommend it. So tip number one for technique is what I've noticed is the best players with the best breaks get their bridge hand very high. It's very high. It's as high as you can make it. So a normal bridge down here, they're trying to get it up as high as they can, but still they're going through the cue ball pretty level, a little bit above, but it's not like a jump shot. It's just a little bit above, and they're following through. They're following through. Now, honestly, in my opinion, I sacrifice power for accuracy because I want to hit this one ball square. If you don't hit the one ball square, you can pop the ball right off the table. You can pop the ball right into here. It might still get kissed in there, but I prefer to hit it less hard and more accurate. So to me, a high bridge, a center ball hit maybe even like slightly above center, like the fraction above center, and then a really nice follow through, hitting the one ball as square as possible. Now, some other things to consider here is you got to have a nice rack. So this is this is the diamond, they call it the wood rack, but it's plastic, or a template rack. So a template rack is going to be the easiest, the wood rack, really hard. But really what you want to do when you're racking these balls, now to rack the balls, really the one goes in the front, 2 random balls, the 10 in the middle with 2 random balls beside it, 2 random balls behind the 10, and then most tournaments have the 2 and 3 in the corner. Now, what you want to do, as far as the tightness of the balls, you know, we got the magic rack here. It's going to be pretty tight. We're going to, you know, push them up, make sure they're frozen. These gaps right here, right there, and there are really important. If you're racking with a wooden rack or a template rack, either way, you want those to be frozen. Now, what you'll see a lot of people do is they'll be doing this on the one ball, or you'll see them pushing up with these balls. What they're doing is creating a little tiny gap in between that 5 and 6. And what that does is it helps push those balls towards the wings. Now this break takes a ton of practice. You gotta really dial it in. You gotta really hit it square. One thing I might have undersold there is the follow through. You really want to follow through as much as possible, as much as you can. I would keep your grip as loose as possible, just not even like gripping, just a real cradle. Follow through as far as you can. Practice it a bunch. You got to practice this so much because, I mean, you watch the best breakers in the world, they'll spend hours before a tournament just practicing their 10-ball break because you got to dial in that right speed, that right follow through, hitting the ball real square. I hope that some of these tips help. They should. They helped me. They'll probably help you. Good luck. Hope you win some 10-ball games.